This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Giannis, Rikky, Morrisette, Albert Lorenzo, Eddie Costello, LightBlindedFool, and the Amyrlin seat. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Shannon Cisierski and Volnik to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really appreciate it. This is our first episode of Season 7, Book 7. We are breaking down the prologue of A Crown of Swords.
Yeah, that is correct.
Question mark?
That is right. There is an A at the beginning of that.
Okay.
So, A Crown of Swords. Very excited to be here. Book 7.
Yeah. Okay, and because we want to do a really good job breaking down this very in-depth prologue, we are going to split it into two parts.
Yes.
So this is part 1 of the prologue, and it will cover the first 3 perspectives in the prologue.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cover the last 3 perspectives in part 2 for our next episode release.
Awesome. It's going to be good.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Didn't we just start book 6?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Gosh.
I got fun facts and all that about, like, you know, the length of the book and stuff about the book because it's the first one. But I am pretty excited to be here because now, for like the next, I think, 5 books or so, they're all getting shorter.
Yeah, but these chapter lengths are long.
They are pretty long.
Like, there's less chapters, but they're longer.
Yeah, yeah.
So each episode is covering more, actually, for us.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that's going to work. So, and we have very old copies of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like the old school. There's not even like any fancy pictures. And part of my fun fact today is about how this book has my favorite cover.
Oh, we don't even have that one.
Yeah, in the entire Wheel of Time series.
The Daryl K. Sweet illustration.
It is my absolute favorite.
The Jacked Rand.
Yeah. Looking back at me, the reader.
Oh.
Over his very, like, gigantic arm.
Jacked.
Yeah. Huge. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, but we don't have that.
No, we don't.
Not yet.
I want to have that.
I know. I'll find it for you.
Need to get that one.
Keep my eyes open at the thrift store.
He's going to keep his eye open for you, too. So. No, it's got, like, the old, like, the blue background, kind of like an Eye of the World, so it brings you back to, like, the beginning of the series.
It does.
It's fantastic. It's great. I love it. So, okay, so continuation of the fun fact. I'm going to tell you some stats about this book, and then we can dive into the prologue, which is lightnings.
Yes.
Because it is real long, and there's some new perspectives. It's
know, it is.
Wow. Yeah. So, okay, first thing, with the length of A Crown of Swords, it comes in at, not the shortest book, but one of the shortest books that we've read so far, 287,720 words.
Okay.
Which is about 100,000 less words than Lord of Chaos.
Okay.
And it is the shortest book by number of chapters that we've read so far. But not for the entire series. It's got 41 chapters and a prologue.
I wonder if that 100,000 less words could have been Elaine and Nynaeve not looking for a cloud bowl.
Right, maybe. Maybe we'll find the cloud bowl in this book. Who knows? We don't even know if that's going to happen.
No.
Okay.
No. I want to talk about the end of Lord of Chaos a little bit.
You do?
Yeah,
okay.
Because that was a long episode. I know this is going to be quite heavy because we have a lot to cover.
For sure.
But wrapping up Lord of Chaos and moving into this one, I'm still going over it a little bit.
Sure.
Like, I'm still having conversations and I'm still figuring it out. And as we're recording right now, our episode comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, for Do Might As Well.
That finishes Lord of Chaos. And so I've just been, like, emotionally, like, reliving the end of the book. Yeah. And the more I think about Lord of Chaos, I think the less I like the book.
Really?
Yeah, the more I go over the things that happened in it, it just wasn't, I don't think it's for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care for that, but okay.
You don't care for that opinion?
No, I hate that opinion.
Yeah, it was just too traumatic.
Oh.
Like, the ending was very traumatic.
Oh, no, that was too traumatic for you?
Yeah, I had that conversation with Spencer today, and it was just...
and she wasn't like, oh, that's the low point of the series.
No.
That's as bad as it gets.
Spencer would never spoil anything for me.
Sure.
But, anyway, so that's kind of like where I'm sitting right now. I did wish that we got a little bit more of an end or wrap up with the women.
Sure.
I felt like that cliffhanger was less interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't care what they were doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the problem. I wish they found the Cloud Bowl, and here's the thing. I wish they tried to use it, and it didn't do what they thought it was going to do.
Okay.
And then we stopped with them.
You know what? I could get on board with that.
That would have been, like, very interesting for me, I think.
I like that.
And, I mean, we did end on some stuff with the, Mogedion being released. That was really kind of exciting, like, what's going to happen there.
There's, like, Black Aja clearly in Abu Dar who maybe have schemes on the girls.
Absolutely. So that's going on. But actually, with those characters...
Yeah.
Boring.
Well, here's the issue.
I hope something interesting happens for them.
Apparently, as soon as they find the Cloud Bolt, they're supposed to leave Abu Dar, and then we wouldn't be in Abu Dar anymore. So you just got to appreciate the destination.
I do like Abu Dar.
Right? Okay.
I do appreciate that.
Okay,
yeah.
So just, like, enjoy the ride.
Okay.
And from here on until the last battle, it's basically smooth sailing for Team Ran. So, like, it's all good.
Yeah. I just don't like the human, like, the human meat grinder
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
Like, that's
not good.
Like, that just wasn't for me.
I get that. I get that.
I think that's my problem.
Okay. Well, okay, here's one last part of my fun fact, just about, like, information for the book.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I interrupted your fun fact.
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. We can, like, talk about the books. We are officially over the 2 million word mark.
Whoa!
Which is pretty cool. We're not quite at the halfway mark. After this book, we're pretty much exactly at the halfway through the 4.4 million word series. Okay. So, like, right around the end of this book. So,
whoa.
Wow.
There we go.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and now we're jumping into Crown of Swords, but we did record a Book 6 recap of Lord of Chaos as a bonus episode that, by the time this episode airs, will be available on our Patreon page for those to listen to if you're interested in that. Yeah, we talked for about an hour.
That was a fun discussion.
Just about Lord of Chaos, and we just sat down and chatted about all the things I was feeling and thinking at the time. But now let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
So last time we were here, it was Lord of Chaos.
Yeah.
It's the end of Lord of Chaos, and it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
That's all I got.
It was a rush to an end.
It was a rush to an end. Yeah. If you forget what happened at the end of Lord of Chaos...
Go read that chapter.
I mean, like, we just talked for...
Yeah. We don't need to recap
almost
that.
10 minutes.
It's a new book. Let's just start fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it's kind of important.
I mean, it is, but we're going to get to re-see that right away.
Yeah, we'll talk about it as we read through. How about that?
Here's a thing that I actually have for homework for you going forward. I'm going to give you some homework.
For me?
Yeah.
Is it more memorizing of Aes Sedai names?
No, it's not. So so everybody knows, A Crown of Swords has a very robust glossary.
Oh.
So what I'm going to do is give you some things that you can read through in the glossary specifically because it gives a lot of clarifying information on some cultures and systems. Okay. It gives like a lot of really good information. And I didn't want to just do like glossary definition after glossary definition because it's literally a couple of pages that you could read through. But you're going to get homework.
Oh, that's okay. I like that homework.
So yeah, that's good. Okay.
All right. So the prologue is called Lightnings, and we get the chapter symbol, the wheel and snake.
Yep, we do.
All right. Now.
Hold on. Did you read the prophecy?
Oh, right.
Oh, my goodness. You almost skipped that.
Yeah, it's a very hotly debated interpretation of this prophecy.
It is.
Or something like that,
No, this is a good one, too.
Yeah, okay.
And we can kind of pick some stuff out of it, too.
Okay, and this is before the map, as always, so it's probably going to be skipped by some people.
By some people, you might miss it. So, it says, "There can be no health in us, nor any good things grow, for the land is one with the dragon reborn, and he one with the land. Soul of fire, heart of stone, in pride he conquers, forcing the proud to yield. He calls upon the mountains to kneel, and the seas to give way, and the very skies to bow. Pray that the heart of stone remembers tears, and the soul of fire, love."
Okay.
So, very hotly contested. We don't really know why.
No, well, what it says specifically, what does it say?
From a much disputed translation of the prophecies of the dragon by the poet something of Shiota, believed to have been published between for years 700 and 800.
Okay.
So
hotly contested. What is it?
Yeah,
debated?
It's because it's a poet who's interpreting it. So, but I mean, that's the thing about all these, prophecies is that they can be taken a lot of different ways.
That's right.
So it really depends on what it is.
All right. I'm so excited. Let's get into this.
Okay.
Okay. So you remember how at the end, I was like, Elida's not that bad.
Yeah.
I understand her perspective on things.
You did say that again.
I'm trying.
Okay.
Immediately changed my decision.
Oh, really? After this perspective?
After this perspective.
That's what got you.
I no longer care for Elida.
Okay.
And I could give a shit. And if she dies, I'm happy.
Wow.
How about that?
That's a real big flip there.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is there something specific that she did or
Nope.
said?
She's the worst.
Just all of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know we've been in her head before.
Yeah.
And that's what's made me be like, okay, I kind of get it. But the arrogance here, the power has just gone to her head.
Sure.
She is awful.
Yeah, she's definitely gone off the handle a little bit.
She is awful. Like, I feel like she's worse now than she was before.
I mean, she was, like, touched by Pat and Fane, right? So she's got that taintedness of Fane.
I don't really care.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. You know, I get that.
Okay, so...
Because she was a little bit like this beforehand,
Elida
too,
perspective. So. Yeah, I know, but maybe we just didn't get enough time. Like, this is a long perspective.
Yeah.
Where she's actually the worst.
And it really clarifies a lot of reasons why she's the worst. But let's do some of it. So
okay.
Let's highlight that.
All right. So Elida is like super high up in the White Tower. She's very, very near the top.
Yeah.
And she's looking out at the countryside and everything. She can see super far because the White Tower is so super awesome. And then we get this time frame because the Feast of Lights is over now.
Yeah.
And it should be winter right now, but it's still summer.
Yeah, so we get a time frame, and that's really important.
Yeah.
Just to line up things for when she receives this letter about Rand, and now the fact that Rand is probably actually out and rescued by the time that we see her right now, so it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, because she has no idea.
She doesn't know. She has no idea. She thinks things are going...
She thinks things are going swimmingly.
And they're not anymore.
Yeah, because she did get a letter that arrived from Kyrian 12 days ago.
Yes, and it arrived from Kyrian, so that would be when the Aes Sedai probably were still there. We don't exactly know when they sent the letter to her, so we don't know, like, the exact day. Mm-hmm. But I gotta assume, like, it's pretty close to, like... I like to imagine that is the day that Rand is escaping.
Yeah.
Just to, like,
that would be cool. Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah, I'd get that.
But yeah, I didn't do the math on exactly what the...
I sort of did.
Okay.
So when Rand was captured in Kyrian to the time that he was rescued, I figured it was 16 days.
Okay.
Because they spent 3 days in Kyrian.
Yep.
It took 6 days for Perrin to leave.
Yep.
From when he was captured.
10 days of traveling.
And then 10 days of traveling.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
16 days until that happened.
Awesome.
And so if she got this letter 12 days ago, that means it was sent.
Yeah.
Like, how long did the letter take to get to her?
Exactly. I don't know.
Was it, like, by pigeon or by rider? Or...
Yeah, exactly. I would assume, like, pigeon, so how fast does the pigeon fly? I have no idea. But that's...
So it's probably...
That's why I like to imagine...
Pretty close.
Same day.
I like to imagine that, too.
It'd just be so funny.
Yes.
But let's talk about the first reason why Elida is terrible.
Oh, because of the palace that's being constructed?
Oh, yeah, because we kind of got that hint
because
a couple of times.
Because if kings and queens could have palaces, then why shouldn't the Amyrlin seat?
Yeah. You know what the worst part about this palace is? Because we've heard of her wanting to build a palace for a while now.
That she tried to get the Ogiers to build it, and they said no?
They did. They said, shove it up your butt, Elida. We're not doing that for you. And then she's like, it's going to be like 10...
Taller than the tower.
Yeah, by like just a little bit with a big like spire or whatever, just for like, what? That's when skyscrapers are like, we're the tallest skyscraper, but they just put their like long antenna on the very top. It's like, I guess technically, but that sucks. Yeah. No, the worst part is where she's building it. She's building it on the warders' practice yard.
Yeah.
So she's saying, screw you warders who are practicing.
Yeah.
Who need to like teach learn how to fight good.
Yeah.
And that's where my palace is going.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't care about
She doesn't care. But it's so terrible and so funny.
Yeah.
In a horrible, horrible way.
Awful.
Okay, first reason why she's bad.
Okay, she also thinks to herself the orders would be issued today.
Yeah.
And we don't quite know what that means yet.
No, we don't. Not yet.
And she thinks about how she has a super weird fancy clock and, like, pictures and stuff all around.
Yep.
And then...
We got that clock before, too.
Yeah, she wants to return to the good old days of Aes Sedai greatness.
Yes, when people were... afraid of Aes Sedai, and nobody even sat on the throne unless it was by the Aes Sedai telling them so.
And I mean, like, maybe that happened.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It
seems like a distorted...
Yeah, view of, like, the past.
Yes.
But totally, that's, like, 100% thing that people do in real life, too. It's like, the good old days may have been good for some people.
But not so great.
Yeah, so, okay.
All right. And so now this message that she got 12 days ago was from Galena.
Yep.
And it says, the ring has been placed in the bull's nose. I expect a pleasant journey to market.
Yeah, super, super secretive message.
And this exactly tells us that capturing Rand was plan A.
Yep.
All along.
It went according to plan, and nobody suspects
that was plan A.
Or that he's even gone.
Oh, that he's gone.
That he's gone. Which makes sense for the time frame of them leaving. Like, nobody thought he was gone.
The capturing went well. And you know what? It did.
It did go.
It did go well for them.
It went perfectly. It went according to plan. Great.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
And here's the thing, too. Elida thinks to herself that she only trusts Reds. And we get that a lot, this perspective with her. She's, like, only trusting the Reds' opinions of things.
Yeah.
But she doesn't even trust all the Reds, but she especially trusts Galena, which is horrible because she is the head of the Red Aja, but she's also Black Aja.
Yeah, and you know, her second in command is also a Black Aja.
Exactly.
So she's like literally surrounded.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And her... jumping ahead, but we'll talk about Alviarin when we get there. So.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Okay. So now Elida thinks it's going to be another, 1 to 2 weeks, and Rand will be in the tower, closely supervised, and guided safely until the last battle when we can just let him out, dump him on Shale Ghul, and
is that the plan, really?
He'll beat the Dark One, and then we'll all just go on with our lives.
Yeah.
And then hopefully Rand just dies facing the Dark One.
Like, everything says that he should, but it's like, we've seen most of the prophecies, and nowhere does it say Rand has to die.
No.
He just talks about his blood. Yeah. On the rocks of Shale Ghul.
I know, I told you.
Yeah. But what a weird, crazy notion that they think that potentially just like picking him up and tucking him away until the last battle, then dumping him, like you said.
That's for sure what the pattern wants.
Like,
for
really?
Sure.
And then just magically he's gonna win?
Yeah.
Like, how does that even make sense?
That's what prophecies say.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
All right. Now Alviarin shows up.
Yes.
And Elida really freaking hates her.
Yeah, they hate each other, I think.
Yeah, I think
it's a mutual hatred.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, what really gets me in this perspective is Elida's just pure arrogance about things that she's completely wrong about.
Okay, so in my brain, she reminds me of in The Princess Bride.
Okay.
What's the little dude who does the poison thing? That guy's name. You know who I'm talking about?
Fessick?
Maybe. Should we look it up?
Yeah.
Because he's like, ha ha ha, inconceivable.
Yes.
It's like so arrogant and so like he thinks he's right about everything.
Fessick. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, no. Fessick is Andre the Giant's character.
Okay.
And Vizzini is played by Wallace Shawn.
Okay. But yeah,
that's that guy.
He's the guy.
Inconceivable.
Yeah, and he's like, he thinks he's right about everything, and that's exactly Elida's attitude, where she's like, you're so stupid, you don't even understand, you don't even see what's right in front of your face, because you're an idiot. Ha ha ha. It's like, Elida, you're the literal worst person right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's Elida.
That's a good call.
Yeah. But Alviarin is not Inigo Montoya.
No.
Oh,
definitely
I didn't want to make that. No, that's not what I'm saying.
No.
Okay.
Alviarin is like the king who wants to kill everybody.
yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, if we're comparing.
I don't need people yelling at at their speakers here. Okay.
No. All right, but Alviarin is here because she has some news from the different Ajas.
Yeah.
And Elida also hates the fact that she wasn't able to pry any of the information out of Swan or Lyanna about their Eyes and Ears network before they escaped.
So that's important. So Elida has no spy network of her own, basically, so she's relying on Alviarin to tell her stuff, and Alviarin's Black Aja.
She knows that Alviarin is withholding.
Yeah, but she doesn't even know what, because she doesn't have any information, so she's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's sure that Alviarin is intentionally not sharing information, but she doesn't know what. And then we get the whole recap where Elida thinks to herself, like, she is the Amyrlin, and technically she can decree whatever she wants to, and her word is, like, absolute. But it doesn't really help, because if you don't have the support of the Hall of the Tower, then anything that you order is just not going to be obeyed.
Yeah, and we sort of got that when Egwene was raised.
Exactly. Swan was like, hey, you got to kind of have these people as in your pocket.
Yeah.
Because otherwise just nothing will get done. Because there's going to be so much wiggle room for people to just,
not do stuff. But
Elida
does think there's always room for loopholes.
Yeah, I mean, sort of.
Yeah.
And we get that, too. Like, really, she's being very ineffective.
Okay, and now we're going to find out that there are two sisters that Elida sent to Abu Dar who are the spies.
Yes, Teslin and Jolene.
Okay.
Gotta remember those.
Did they do anything interesting of note? while we were in book 6?
Yeah, I actually brought these up because we'd heard these names, so we didn't know much.
I actually didn't even recognize their names.
That's okay. I actually told you who they were in the last book. That's okay. So Teslin, we don't know much, but we get a little bit more. Before, we just knew that she was a red Aja, but now we learn that she was a sitter for 15 years.
Wait, Teslin was a red, and she's spying... Oh, in Ebu Dar. I was thinking Saladar.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so these
are the two who are in Ebu Dar with, like, Nynaeve and Elaine. But not with them. They were, like, from the tower.
What?
Okay, remember when we went to Ebu Dar, Tylan, the queen, was like, hey, there's other sisters here from the tower.
Okay.
And there's White Cloaks. And there's, like, you guys now. Yes,
okay.
Yeah. So Teslin and Jolene...
I thought these were spies in Saladar sent by Elida.
No.
Okay, so that's wrong.
No, these two basically got shoved into Ebu Dar for a nothing mission as punishment by Elida.
Okay,
so
were these the ones that had stupid ideas about how to get Rand or where Rand was or something like that?
No, not quite. Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so Teslin, instead of you guessing, Teslin was the red, and then we learned that she was a sitter for 15 years, so sitter in the Hall of the Tower, very important position.
Yep.
And then Elida commanded her to resign her chair, which is basically like a big power play from Elida, so that people will see, hey, she's even going to get one of her own Aja to, like, give up the chair, like... Crazy power move.
Okay.
And Elida's crazy, and everyone's avoiding her now.
Okay.
And then Jolene was one of the ones who captured Swan in her study originally. She was involved in that.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like Elida was tasking Jolene to find Swan and Leon after they escaped, and she failed. And we got a note in Tel'aran'rhiod when they were, like, rooting through the Amyrlin study.
Okay.
And then Elida tells her to punish herself for failing to find them. We kind of had a laugh about, like, oh, she has to make her own punishment.
Right.
And if it's not good enough, then it's like, I'm going to triple it.
Right, and then she got a note and she did her own punishment.
Yeah, and now we learned that she's held her chair for a few weeks, and she was selected by the Greens to show they weren't afraid of Elida, but then Elida sent both of them just off to Ebu Dar.
Okay.
So this is like a big power play. It's important to know that these are two Aes Sedai who are in Ebu Dar, and they might come up again because they're in Ebu Dar.
They're in Ebu Dar. Teslin and Jolene.
Teslin and Jolene.
If I had a better singing voice, I would sing Jolene, but I'm singing it in my head, and that's how I'm going to remember
it. Okay. And then just remember Teslin is like Tylan, and they're both in Ebu Dar.
Oh, I was going to say Teslin is like Tesla.
Okay.
Like Tesla.
Totally.
I think that Ebu Dar reminds me of a place where maybe there would be Teslas.
Okay. I get that. No, I don't get that. Anyways.
Okay, but that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man. Okay. Who's Tylan? Oh, Queen Tylan.
Queen Tylan.
Got it. I thought, okay. I totally got this.
Yeah. You're nailing this one. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. And so now Alviarin shares some news from Ebu Dar, and it comes from a Grey sister.
Yep.
And it appears that Elaine and Nynaeve are there, acting as full sisters, and that might have been allowed by the Saladar Aes Sedai. Plus, there are two others who might be part of that embassy to Queen Tylan.
Yeah, so that's Adelius and Vandene that we know are there.
Oh, right, I was thinking...
We also have Merlil there, too, though.
Oh, yeah. Merlelli or
Merlelli,
something.
yeah. Merlil.
Okay.
Merlille.
Right. I was thinking the two others were Avienda.
Okay, probably not.
And Brigida, because they're the ones who are like with.
Yeah, no, I get that, but probably like the actual Aes Sedai.
They're talking about.
Yeah.
Aes Sedai. Okay. Now, Elida doesn't believe any of this. She's like, you fool!
Yeah.
Can't you even see what's in front of your face? Of course that's not true.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, her rationale, because this is what we're talking about. She only really believes the Reds, and sends her Red, Tarna, if you remember her.
I do remember
She was the one who went into Saladar, and she got to kind of see everything, and she reported to Elida that Nynaeve and Elaine were in Saladar, so now Elida's like, they're not in Ebu Dar, moron. They're in Saladar, obviously.
Obviously.
But obviously not.
And then Alviarin pulls out some sketches to prove that her information is probably true, and Elida hates this so much.
Because she intentionally saved the pictures just so she can shove it in her face later.
And you know what? fine.
Fair.
I didn't think I'd be siding with Alviarin on this.
I know, it's
one.
like, how bad do you have to be that I'm siding with, I know that Alviarin is like Black Aja and is terrible, and I'm like, you go, Alviarin.
I know.
You shove it in her face.
Oh my gosh, I know. And then we get a bit of a recap on how Elida knows that Elaine is so important to the world because of her foretelling about the Royal House of Andor being the key to winning the last battle.
Yeah.
And I just laugh in her stupid face once again because she's wrong.
Yeah, so we're catching up on
it's
stuff.
Rand, right? It's Rand?
Well, yeah, he's like the Royal House of Andor.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to look back at the lineage.
Rand, yeah.
Yeah, obviously Rand. Like, yes, Elaine's important, and we could say everybody's important, but like, probably the prophecy was talking about Rand.
Yeah.
Probably. Like, that would make the most sense.
That makes the most sense.
But we're catching up on what Elida does and doesn't know, so she knows that Morgase is dead, which is not true.
Knows it.
And she's heard rumors about Morgase being with White Cloaks, but knows that's impossible.
Impossible.
Never. And she knows that the Andoran houses want to put Dylan on the Lion Throne.
Wrong.
Which is, I mean, they kind of do, but Dylan has no interest.
Does, but then others didn't.
They're all kind of on board with not now, so... But, and then she also, according to Elida, the rumors about Logain are not true.
Right. Because he's probably dead in a hole somewhere.
Yeah. And then, but also, she wants him to be hanged as soon as possible.
Of course.
So it's like, okay, which is it?
Yeah, she also knows that even the Saladar Aes Sedai would never let them play at being full Aes Sedai because that would be against everything anyone believes.
I know. It's like she knows a lot of things.
She knows it all. And now we also have information about the Mercura woman, and that's the one with the fork root from that random town.
Exactly.
That one time.
Nailed it. Yeah, that's exactly right. So Elida wants them all captured, but this is important. She's saying pass the information about Forkroot along to aid in the capture of Elaine and Nynaeve.
Ooh.
And the other two Aes Sedai that are with them. So it looks like we got like a little kidnapping plan again to get them back with Forkroot.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Good luck.
It's hinting that the information is being passed.
Well... Maybe. Elida wants it to be passed, but if Alviarin doesn't want it to be passed, or if Masana, who Alviarin meets with, doesn't want that to be...
She's actually the one who's calling the shots.
She's in charge here.
So that's good. That friggin' one of the Forsaken is literally in charge of the White Tower.
I would rather the Forsaken be in charge than Elida. How's that?
Yeah. You know what? I kind of get that. Okay. At least they don't want Rand dead.
The problem I'm having with Elida here is before I saw her as competent.
Yeah.
And she figured out the Min thing. She figured out the, Rand thing, whatever.
She did have some things going for her.
She figured out that Swan and Moraine were scheming and whatever. And she ended up overthrowing, the Amyrlin seat. And I felt like, even though I don't love her or like anything she's doing, I at least could appreciate that she was being effective for her own cause.
That's fair.
And here in this perspective, all of that's gone to shit.
Yeah.
And she is not being competent or effective.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm like, Elida, you suck.
Yeah.
So here we are.
We got to see a bit of that decline where we saw it in the dream world where at the beginning there was like lots of chairs in her study because she kind of had that big in-group with her. But then it was like declining to now it's basically like it's just her by herself shouting orders and everyone is avoiding her.
Yeah. And she's even like put herself up on this crazy pedestal being so high up in the tower.
To make people, the literal Amyrlin study is not at the very top because elevators apparently don't exist in this world.
No.
So if people have to come and see the Amyrlin all the time, they don't have to walk to the very top of the freaking huge tower.
Well, they're also avoiding her because she's awful and the worst.
But she moved herself up to the very top.
Because that makes her look like the best.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
It's just add more things on to why she's the worst.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So Elida thinks things are going to plan. Rand's on his way to the tower. The rebels will be crushed.
Yep.
And Alviarin will fall in line. The rulers of the world will be brought in check. And Elaine will be placed on the Caemlyn throne.
Yeah, so all that is going awesome for her, she thinks.
She thinks this is all going excellent.
Yeah.
And then the subject turns to, quote, those men over on that farm.
Yeah, the Black Tower, they have the name. They know it.
Yeah, they do have the name. Those men in the Black Tower need to be rooted out of Andor.
This is awesome. Okay, I love this.
Like this scene?
this
The
entire,
back and
like,
forth?
the plot line here.
Oh.
Like, her plan, and then when we get Alviarin's perspective talking to Masana about, like, what's actually the plan, this seems to be what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, Masana said, yeah, write up these orders.
Yeah. So not great for the Aes Sedai.
No, but it's like, okay, I'm excited for this.
Now, here's the thing. I don't hate all Aes Sedai.
No, I don't either. But, you know, when you see...
I mean, like, the institution isn't a good one.
Yeah, it should
and
kinda,
they need, like, an overhaul. And I think maybe that's what Egwene's gonna bring.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yes.
I mean, like, that's her plan. She does have a plan to, like, overhaul some of the things that are being done right now.
She does, yeah. We'll see if that can be implemented, though, because, like...
She has to, like, be the Amyrlin
Yeah.
seat, like, the actual one in the tower, I think.
And, I mean, creating change in an institution, like you called it,
But there's already change happening.
There
like,
is.
Through all the Saladar Aes Sedai, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they are going and, like, kind of scouting and bringing in lots of people and training lots of women that they wouldn't have necessarily trained in the tower.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the biggest things that might give him a kick in the butt is literally the Black Tower.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you're not the only people who can channel anymore.
Yeah.
There's another tower, and you're going to have to figure that out.
I know. My biggest concern is that Egwene is not going to want to work with Rand and these men.
That's a very real concern.
That would be great. That's what should happen.
Yeah. Because she seems to be okay with Rand, but that also might just be like a...
Dragon Reborn
the Dragon
and
Reborn
Rand.
/ it's Rand excuse.
Yeah.
And she might not feel that way about other men.
All the men.
So.
And she definitely doesn't.
No.
She's scared of it.
But she did let Logain go.
She let Logain go to Rand.
Yeah.
What was her plan?
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this plan first.
Sure. Okay.
So, Elaida doesn't think that there's going to be more than 2 or 3 men who can even channel there.
In the whole Black Tower.
In the entire camp, but there's probably like camp followers, other people. So she says Tovann, which is red. Another red. She's going to lead 50 sisters and 200 of the guard. And then Alviarin tells her, like, hey, the rumors say that there's like 400 at the tower, and Mazrim Taim is there, but Elaida shuts it down. She's like,
no way, no way, no how.
The 400 are like rabble. They're like, whatever. Maybe people who have straggled, like, staggered in. Well,
and that's because there have only been 6 male channelers that they have found in the last 10 years.
Yep.
And wow.
Okay.
The only job of the Red Aja that I can see is literally to roam the countrysides.
Yeah.
Find men who can channel, root them out.
Well, here's the thing.
And gentle them. 6 in 10 years.
So it's kind of
the whole Red Aja.
Yeah. It's kind of the exact same thing as the recruiting. They only find the ones who are causing a scene. They only find the women who are like either showing up to the White Tower and it's like, hey, I can channel, or it's the ones who are like, causing a scene for whatever reason. Their nobility, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they are actually channeling now.
Yeah.
Right? But same with the men. They're not finding all the men who might be able... They're finding the ones who are causing...
That's literally their job.
That's the point, is they're so ineffective, just like all the other Ajas.
I can't even with this.
I love it.
I literally can't even with these.
Yeah, so back to things that Elaida knows that she knows for real. There's no way that Taim is there, because he's for sure dead. And even if he is alive, he'd never be serving Rand.
Because he claimed to be the Dragon Reborn, so why would he go and serve the Dragon Reborn?
Plus, she knows Bashir is with Rand, and she's like, no way that he would let Taim be there. So she's just wrong about stuff.
And I mean, like, logically, what she's saying does make some sense.
It does.
The problem is the pattern could give a shit about logic.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
And people are just kind of doing new things because, the Dragon Reborn breaks all ties.
Exactly.
We know that. So, side little note here, because Elaida has her little collection of miniatures, and I had to point this out.
Yes.
Because one of them she has...
I know. The funny little creature?
Yeah, the elaborately robed woman with a peculiar little animal.
Hairy man.
A little man covered in hair crouching on her shoulder. I think it's a monkey.
Yeah, it's a monkey.
I didn't really think about, and then I was like,
100% that's what that is. But it's a fantasy of the carver. The carver.
Yeah.
That's what she thinks, because she's never seen a monkey.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. It's like, have I ever seen a monkey in the Wheel of Time? I don't know. Because I don't know what animals are fantasy. Because we saw a seahorse before, that I think Perrin was like, what is this?
A seahorse?
We saw a seahorse, like a little carving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't think Perrin knew what I think it was Perrin, I can't remember. But it's just one of those things, like, I don't know where the monkeys live in Wheel of Time.
Yeah, no, Shara.
There you go.
Probably
okay.
with the elephants.
Probably.
Maybe.
Right?
I don't know. I don't think monkeys and elephants live in the same... I guess it depends.
Maybe.
But a little monkey, I'm thinking of like a little capuchin.
Okay.
Like, a little Marcel.
Yeah, totally.
Like
from
Ross.
Friends. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or like a Abu.
Yes.
Right? A little monkey sitting on a shoulder. A little hairy man.
Okay, that's just what I was thinking, so, okay.
That's funny. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now we can talk about the 6 and 10 years.
Yeah, because this is, like, big news.
Oh, my God.
This is actually, like, super important, too, so.
Yeah, and 24 in the last 20 years.
Yes.
So the 10 years before were a little more effective, it sounds like, than the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I mean, we know the whole thing about the pattern spitting out, like, false dragons and all that. So,
okay,
that's a thing.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the last 20 years.
No, but we also know, like, since Rand's been alive, like, 20 years is kind of like a big, important number, too.
Yeah,
so,
but there have been 2, like, for sure that we've seen in, like, the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Now, Alviarn is like, hey, watch it, that 24 is a dangerous number to speak out loud because the official chronicles only record 16.
Yes.
Because that means... that 8 men have been gentled and it hasn't been recorded?
In, like, the official documents, yeah. But she also kind of hints that the last thing they want is to put those years and call them into question because some stuff went down.
Not so savory stuff.
Yeah, not savory at all, which is really interesting because we're going to get this. And plus, with Alviarin's perspective, we kind of get to learn the shady history of the Aes Sedai.
Ooh.
So, we're going to talk about that.
And Elida's like, I'm not afraid of information coming out. Who's going to punish me? I'm clearly the ruler of the world.
Yeah, I love how Alviarin's like, well, it happens. Like, sometimes you have Amyrlins who go into these weird punishments for no reason.
Yeah.
But it's like, clearly there's a reason that someone's making them do it. So, okay.
And I mean, look what you did to Swan.
Yeah. It's literally, like, maybe that to you, Elida.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that she thinks that she's above that.
Yeah. It's like, there's a rebel army marching on the tower as we speak that you know
and
of.
And she's like, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter at all.
They're not
and
even
these other Amyrlins all met their end when the tower wasn't divided.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know where she gets this confidence from.
Yes.
It is just wild.
Yeah. So, the plan, 50 sisters, because she's laying down the law, 50 sisters, 200 guards are going to the Black Tower. Okay. And they're going to gentle any man they find and hang them and then leave the bodies up as a warning.
Okay.
So that's going to go real shitty.
And then she's really, really upset because she breaks one of her ivory figures.
Oh, no, terrible. She's going to be more upset.
Because that's how angry she is.
But it's like, hey, 50 sisters? Yeah. That isn't...
Remember when I thought this was like some Angriel cash?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And it was like, that's not how it works.
No. But little ivory figures, I don't know.
Yeah, just like a little collection.
That's it. Yeah.
Didn't I talk about like the whole Aladdin?
Yes. Yeah. Little figures. Yeah, I know.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. All right, so Alviarin changes to the next topic.
Yep.
And we can talk about this march on the Black Tower later when we get to the Masana stuff. But Alviarin changes to the next topic, which is maybe not sending so many sisters because, you know...
We got a whole army of rebels coming.
Rebels coming, and they've chosen a new Amyrlin, Egwene Elvire.
Yeah, and she does her like, oh, I have to remember what was that naming? It's like, you guys know what the name is.
And then Elida goes into a fit of laughter.
She would be stomping her feet.
But she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
But she laughs and laughs and laughs and wipes tears from her eyes. This is so funny.
Inconceivable. Yeah. You don't even know.
Elvire is like pretty surprised by this reaction. From Elida's perspective.
Yeah, because she's crazy and angry and has like fits of rage.
Yeah, because Saladar has 300 sisters marching, plus the army led by Gareth Bryn, which, you know, by all reports is counting over 20,000 and reportedly growing.
Yeah, which is honestly probably true.
Yeah.
From what we've seen from literally their perspective.
Yes. Yeah, plus Matt's band.
Yeah, because they're like marching and then picking up more people as they go. That's like the plan.
Yeah.
So.
And Elida spends the next like 18 full pages.
Yeah. Front and back.
Explaining why she's not concerned about this at all.
Yeah, because Tarna reported 2,000 to 3,000 soldiers at most.
And what she knows is that informants always elaborate a little bit to make themselves seem better.
Yeah, like their information is super important, but
yeah,
still, like you're going from 20 to 2.
And she thinks that Gareth Bryn would make sure that the army is seen.
Yes, because they'd be like boasting and gloating.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, that was a while ago. But also, we know that Tarna didn't get to see everything. She just saw what was in the camp.
No, and what they were doing, in fact, was actually hiding what they have.
They're like,
because they didn't want you to know because they're marching on your tower.
Yeah, and Elviarin actually brings up some good points.
Or
where,
like
again,
plan to eventually. But
I'm on Elviarin's side where she's like, hey, we need to recruit more soldiers. Like, let the captain of the tower guard recruit people, and Elida doesn't care at all.
She's like, nah.
Because
men
again,
are stupid.
She's covering up the water grounds. Like, she has no value in soldiers.
Because only women who can channel are effective at anything.
But it's like they can't even really fight because you can't, like, that's not how it works.
No, you need to be directly under threat.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to fear for the life of yourself or your warder or your other sisters.
Right.
So, and that's kind of the issues we got into, like, Dumai's Wells.
Yes.
Why are the sisters marching around? Was it because of the oaths? Like, was it something else?
Or were they actually just marching in because they wanted Rand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really know yet.
We got a comment like that, I think, on
Yeah,
Patreon.
We weren't in their heads yet, so hopefully we can find out.
Okay.
So, but yeah, her entire thought process is that she doesn't think this is like a real, actual...
No, she thinks
army.
that, and also with Egwene being named Amyrlin, they're like, no way. And you know what's funny is she goes into the politics of the women who are there.
Yeah.
Like, quote, leading.
Yeah.
Based on Tarna's report.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that Ramonda would be Amyrlin, and, and she actually does, like, know the politics pretty well.
She does get it. She understands it.
Yeah.
And Elida studied and that's why she knows the loophole that they're using for Egwene.
Yes.
Immediately she picks it up. She's like, oh, that makes sense, because I studied it so that I could depose Swan.
Yes.
Like, technically, legally, sort of.
Yes.
But yeah, so she knows what's up, and so she thinks that Egwene's just a scapegoat, and they don't actually want the war.
Based on everything that's happened, like, the leaders of the rebellion will be stilled, but everybody else will probably get off, just like with some, like, small penance and whatever.
Yeah.
And then the only crime that demands stilling is claiming to be the Amyrlin seat.
Yeah.
So the rebels have picked Egwene as the scapegoat, and, even they know their plan is hopeless.
But I mean, with Elida, she's actually still kind of right. They did pick Egwene as the scapegoat, and they might have that. Like, we have had the sisters not wanting to start this march. That's why Egwene and Swan literally had to come up with this plan to force them into action.
Yeah.
So, like, Elida is kind of correct in her evaluation of why they've chosen Egwene and what they might want.
Well, they also think that they can manipulate her.
That's the issue, is Elida doesn't know that Egwene actually doesn't want to be manipulated.
Oh,
and she's going to do her own thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said no. So, Here we go.
All right. Now, suddenly, a foretelling takes hold of Elida, and she says, the White Tower will be whole again, except for remnants cast out and scorned, whole and stronger than ever. Rand al'Thor will face the Amyrlin seat and know her anger. The Black Tower will be rent in blood and fire, and sisters will walk its grounds. This I foretell.
Yeah, so that's a pretty heavy foretelling.
Whoa.
And again, Elida's...
And, like, that's not cryptic.
No, it like, sort of is.
Some is, but face the Amyrlin seat and know her anger.
But again, this is the issue, is that currently there's, like, two different factions going on here.
Yeah.
So what does this really mean? Elida's problem with foretellings that we've seen with her initial one, like a bunch of them, is that she interprets it where she's the most important person in the foretelling that she has.
Right.
So when it's like, oh, the White Tower will be whole again, except for remnants cast out and scorned. How do we know that you're not the one who's cast out and scorned?
Exactly. And that's what I foretell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my foretelling, is that this won't last. Especially considering that nobody in this tower that we see legitimately supports Elida right now. They're all, like, kind of scared of her and don't really...
They don't like her.
They don't like her. They don't... I just think that there's no way that this whole tower, like, that are here right now, will 100% back Elida.
Yeah, like, if it's actually on, like, we don't really know how it's going to work.
Especially if 50 of them are leaving.
Yeah.
Now.
That's, like, way too many. That's too many of your number here.
To literally go to the human meat grinder.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. Okay.
Because that's blood and fire thing in my...
Right?
Like, I feel like we already saw that.
Yeah, we did see that. But that's the thing, is like the Black Tower...
When is this foretelling actually taking place? I want to believe it's the day before Dumais Wells.
But this is the Black Tower. They were Ashaman at Dumais Wells.
Yeah.
Not the Black Tower.
But is the Black Tower in this prophecy, or in this foretelling, whatever, referring to the group of men?
Sure. Or
is it referring to the physical farm?
Okay.
Because the group of men were surrounded by blood and fire.
Yeah.
The Black Tower, like the men of the Black Tower.
Now, it does say sisters will walk its grounds. So, like, that does seem like sisters are going to be walking on the grounds of the Black Tower.
But that both of these two things could technically be separate.
That's true. And the last one, Randall Thor will face the Amyrlin Sea to know her anger. Like, is that referring to Elaida or Egwene?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you can kind of imagine that a Rand versus Egwene showdown. I mean, it could be pretty good.
It could be good.
It could be terrible. It could be just the worst thing.
I actually would really not like that.
Okay, that's fair too.
Ugh.
But yeah.
Also, if we're going to the Black Tower grounds and there's going to be blood and fire, it's like, are we just going to have another freaking...
Yeah.
Pink mist situation?
Possibly.
Because, God.
Hate that pink mist. Okay.
Oh my God.
So, it's kind of funny, but I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me, and it probably doesn't, but the first time I read this foretelling of Elaida, I do a double take thinking, is this real? Like, is she just bullshitting right now?
I honestly had a similar thought.
Yeah, or is she just making this shit up as she goes? But it does seem like it's actually a foretelling.
Because it is from Elaida's perspective. If this was from Alviarin's perspective,
sure,
I would be way more skeptical.
Yeah.
But we get Elaida being like, oh shit, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
I didn't want anyone to see when this happens.
Yeah.
And she's gasping.
It doesn't seem like a thing that gets faked. There's no fake foretellings that are happening here. But it's just, I think the imagery that we imagine with foretelling is maybe a little bit different than how the words come on the page.
Perhaps.
So.
This seemed like,
I foretell this.
The Elaida Amyrlin seat will win.
I foretell you owe me $1,000 and you will pay me.
And everyone will love Elaida.
Yes, okay. All right.
Oh my God.
Now Elaida has to enact her plan.
Okay.
And we get a first part of that.
Yeah.
The first message is to go to the lady Caroline Damodred.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caroline Damodred, duh.
Okay.
In Kyrian.
Yeah,
because that's where Damodreds are.
Yeah, that's Moraine's house.
Yeah.
Right? Probably related.
Yeah.
But we also got last book, Chapter 17, Lord of Chaos. House Ryoton and Damodred are the ones who are gathering their strength closer to the spine of the world because of the whole, they're rebelling against Rand.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, the Damodreds are involved in that kind of Kyrian and rebellion thing.
Okay. So, now, to end this Elaida perspective... Oh my God, this is only the first one.
Yep.
We're still talking about the first perspective of this prologue.
Yep.
Whoa!
Yep.
Okay. To end this perspective, she thinks how the Chronicles will probably have to at least mention the Dragon Reborn, but her name is going to be the most important as the most powerful woman in the history of the world. Yeah. The woman who saved mankind.
She has a Pedro Nile complex.
Wait. The woman who saved humankind, because really, if there were no men, Elaida would be happy.
That's true too. Okay. But yeah, no, it's it's the complex that we saw with Pedronale, where it's I'm the one who's going to lead humankind, against, the Shadow Spawn who are pouring out of the Blight. So, huge ego, but good for her for, believing that, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. All right, so we're going to shift into Savannah's perspective.
Yeah.
Now, I have some views on this. I have some thoughts. Okay,
Savannah is your favorite now.
No.
Okay. I don't know. You need a replacement for Elaida, right?
No. Actually, my replacement for Elaida as a bad guy that I like is probably either Galena or Alviarin. Actually.
Interesting. Okay.
In terms of bad-ish people that I actually don't mind in the story so far.
Yeah.
In terms of being good villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now Savannah is standing with the Aiel and the Wise Ones waiting for a signal. And now when I initially read this, of course, naturally, I assume that she's not part of the battle.
Yeah.
This is after the battle, and she's been hanging back somewhere.
Watching what's happening.
Or not watching, she's waiting for a signal about, like, what's happening in the battle.
Okay.
She's so far removed that she doesn't even know what's going on, and it's about to be, like, I envisioned this entire scene where, all of the Shido are running back towards her. She's standing there waiting for, like, a one signal.
Yeah.
And the entire rest of the army that survived is, like, running back at her.
Yeah, and she's like, what's going on?
Yes.
But, like, no, she's, like, on the hill, and she can see everything that's happening.
Oh, yeah, and then she goes into it. So, like, of course I'm wrong. But, yeah, that's what I pictured. I in no way ever thought we were going to go so far back in time that we were going to live an entire battle scene that we've already lived from a different perspective.
Yeah, I know that you would never assume that.
I would never ever assume that, but after reading it, let me tell you, from a cinematic perspective, from somebody with zero cinematic experience, knowledge, or background. As a pure consumer of entertainment, from one season ending in a battle sequence to the next season beginning, like a full year later or whatever it is, this would be so cool.
It would be so cool. I know.
This would be so cool because it's a recap kind of what happened.
Yeah.
From a different perspective. Now, do I think this could have been cut down a lot shorter?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I do appreciate the nuance.
It is literally us coming back to a book a year later or whatever, 2 years after the last one was released.
And for me, it was like literally less than a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people who, RJ never assumed people were going to reread books before they were released. Like, that was,
Did he never get to experience reading a series that the author hadn't finished?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That is such a classic thing that, like, anyone would do.
Yeah, but, like, RJ read, like, a book a week or something, right? Or, like, a book a day. It was something crazy. I did a fun fact on that, but the guy read... So you don't
much.
You don't reread the... You just read new, so...
Yeah. Well, he also clearly had a brain where if he read something, he remembered it forever.
Oh, exactly. It just, like, it was in there now.
Nobody else...
He has that.
Very rare percentage of the population has that.
That you can consume and actually, like,
and just retain forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
Okay.
But yeah, very cinematic, very cool, and loving getting to go back, because this is a scene that on the TV, you could...
On the TV?
On the television.
Tell us more, Grandpa.
When I put the VHS in... Okay. Yeah. Be kind, please rewind.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my... Okay, anyways.
You're really aging.
Yeah. Back in the day when I had my Blockbuster... I used to work at Blockbuster way back. Anyways, not the time for this, so... Okay. I knew they were going out of business.
I knew you
on
knew
Tuesdays
that.
When nobody comes in to rent movies and I'm working for like 5 hours.
I know. Okay.
Okay. My point is, you can do it really cool on a different medium because you can have the two perspectives of the same scene, flip, flop, flip, flop. You could have like Savannah included in the Dumais Wells chapter very easily because it's all cinematic.
It could have been, yeah.
Right? But it's a book, so give me one perspective or two at a time.
To start this book, I appreciated it more.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have got as much out of Savannah's perspective
if it was like at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, or like the next chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, even though it kind of is, but it isn't.
Because we got Rand's perspective, and we also got Perrin?
Yeah, we got Perrin.
In the battle?
Yeah. We got Gawain at the very beginning to start it.
Yeah, Gawain to start it. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this then. So Savannah is standing with the Aiel and the Wise Ones, waiting for their signal. Most of her thoughts now are how the Aiel have a bunch of like outdated and stale traditions, and that's why she wants the Wise Ones to go fighting with the crew.
She wants a bunch of change because we get her entire thought process is how she wants to like switch it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. She doesn't like all she wants to take people as servants. She doesn't want like, guy Shine, who only she wants servants, she wants the jewels, she wants the palace, like she wants all that stuff. Yeah,
she stole a bunch of jewels from a bunch of nobles.
She did, right? And it's like Aiel, the wise ones, they have, jewelry and stuff. They deck themselves out a little bit, but not to the extent that Savannah does.
No, and they get those from merchants and peddlers.
Yeah.
Right? Or mostly peddlers. That's who come into the waste, right?
Yeah.
But they buy them. They don't just or they get their fifth from
wherever, but it's not just robbing people blind. So,
yeah. Well, Savannah's also the worst.
Yeah, and Savannah's never been a maiden, we learn here too.
Nope, clearly.
She's never done anything except for seduce her first husband.
Seriously, what was her job even?
Marrying people who... She literally talks about how she learned at a young age that the best way to get power was to marry a dude who has power already.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't talk to me about, whoops, a couple of them died. That's not my fault.
Yeah. That's their fault.
And it's not her fault. She didn't murder any of them, but...
No, and I mean, convincing Couladin to go against Rand, probably not the best decision that,
And I mean, was that really made? Savannah, or was that more Asmodean?
Couladin also was the worst.
Yeah, he was also the worst. He
literally was the worst, and he met a just end.
Yes.
Off screen.
Off screen.
Off page.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, eventually, the Aiel leaders of the warrior Aiel societies, or Shido societies, right? I don't even know. What's happening?
So the Shido are a clan.
Up. Yeah.
And then there's the societies within.
Right.
Like Stone Dogs, Red Shields, Maidens.
Right.
Those
Got
are the societies.
Got it. But this is the Shido. Okay.
Yeah.
So they run up, and Savannah thinks about how she still speaks as the clan chief since she's the widow of the last two chiefs.
Yes.
And we're not going to talk about her luck right now.
Yes.
We're just going to move on.
Exactly. So she is technically, or not, she is clan chief for all intents and purposes.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We get her thoughts about wanting to marry the Kara Karn to become the Kara Queen. She's going to rule everybody. There's going to be a new way of naming clan septs.
This is really big. So
clan chiefs and sept chiefs.
Okay, so I'll explain this one real quick. So she wants to redo how the Aiel do things. She wants to get all those old traditions out. She wants to do away with Ruidian. Right? Yep. Stuff like that, because she never went to Ruidian. She's
never been, and she has FOMO.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of the thing. It's interesting, because she thinks to herself...
I hope they'll let me go. And then she's like, no one should ever have to go.
No one should ever go. But also, now the more change that she wants to make is that now instead of, how they currently kind of do it as wise ones, allowing people to go to Ruidian for clan chiefs and sept chiefs and stuff like that, and heads of warrior societies, that the new way to do it is going to be having Randall Thorne as Kara Karn name them, but it's going to be her directing that. So she's basically taking all the traditions and good ways of choosing leaders and tossing them out the window.
Right. And so basically, to be a new leader, you're going to be named by Rand al'Thor.
Yes.
Rand is going to just choose you at random.
Not random. It's going to be whoever's probably most loyal to Savannah.
Right, because it's going to be with her direction, of course.
And she also wants to take in the idea that the Wetlanders have of handing down your ranks to your children and their children.
Oh, yeah.
So she wants to incorporate some of that stuff where it's like, I'm queen forever. Because she wants
to give Rand al'Thor a bunch of sons and daughters.
Yes. Okay. And she wants her kids to basically rule forever.
Forever.
So,
okay.
Here we go.
Now, we also get confirmation here that the whole killing that wise one with the power thing was definitely how she got everyone to agree to the attack on the Aes Sedai.
Yep, that's what happened.
And we get here that killing a wise one is the same as killing a pregnant woman, killing a child, or killing a blacksmith.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, a blacksmith is a very coveted title.
This is new to you. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
So why? Okay. So killing.
I thought I kind of laughed. I was like, okay.
But let's talk about it, because this is like a big part of their culture.
Yeah.
This is huge, though. Besides not killing the pregnant women and children, that's kind of an obvious one there.
Yeah.
But the blacksmiths would hold a very important tradition in the Aiel culture.
Yeah, high rank.
Because, they make the weapons.
Yeah. The spears and stuff?
Well, yeah, blacksmiths, they're metal workers.
Yeah.
Right? They're people who make the weapons, and the Aiel warrior culture who, idealize weapons, they would definitely...
No, not weapons, right? Or just not swords. Okay. I see you staring
spears
at me.
are weapons. They make weapons. Aiel are not shy about weapons. It's they don't touch swords specifically, and we know why, but no, it's kind of an interesting take too.
Knives and spears and
Yeah, so they have no problems with weapons. They're not shy about that at all.
Okay.
But look at...
I thought it was funny.
It is funny, but also it kind of adds another layer of how we can look at Perrin.
Oh, because he's a blacksmith.
Perrin's a blacksmith. He's like a very notable blacksmith, and we know that Gaul knows that Perrin's a blacksmith. So it's just like one of those like reverence side of things that we might need to look at a little deeper now that we know blacksmiths are like super important to Aiel.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, finally, an Aiel comes up and is like, oh no, one of their forward scouts escaped and he was wounded and still on his horse.
And it's like, that's the guy.
Oh, that's that guy. That's the scout we saw warning Gawain of the Aiel attack.
Yeah, that's the guy. And
so the society leaders start to move, but since Savannah is the one giving the battle orders here, she wants the control and she just gives terrible orders.
Yeah, she shouldn't be in control of ordering.
Of this.
And they try to, like, not listen to her, but then she doesn't really like that.
No.
So, because she says, throw every spear against them.
Everyone.
And they're like, we should probably keep some back because, you know, that's not how you do war, Savannah.
That's not how you do battle.
Yeah. But she says, do it.
Do it anyway.
We need to. They're fighting Aes Sedai.
Don't you remember?
Don't you remember how they killed Dasane?
Yes, exactly.
Dasani.
Dasani?
Well, it's like the water.
Dasane?
We have no idea.
There's
no way to know.
Okay. Well, she died for Savannah's cause to get the Wise Ones to go along with his plan to go fight the Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Now, Savannah watches from the hill as 40,000 Aiel surround the Aes Sedai wagons, and Savannah's super annoyed because the Aes Sedai had time to get a bit of a defense in position and have set up an invisible barrier of protection.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we saw because...
We saw it.
Honestly, it was Gawain who saved the day there.
Yep.
So,
well, and Galena being like, okay, fine, we'll be cautious.
But, I mean, Galena wouldn't have done anything if it wasn't for Gawain sticking his neck out on the line.
I know.
I really got, like, there's a lot we don't like Gawain for, but we gotta give it to the guy.
Although, to be fair here, honestly, I would rather Rand have been captured by the Shido.
Really?
I would rather have the Shido killed all the Aes Sedai.
Sure.
Who are capturing Rand. Rand go be with the Shido because then his shield would be broken.
Okay.
And then he could just, like, do his Rand thing and get out of there. Because
well, would it? Would it be broken?
The shield would be broken if the Aes Sedai died? Yeah.
I mean, we don't know for a fact that, like, Wise Ones don't know how to shield. And there's a lot more of them. So, I mean...
Yeah, but they're all a lot weaker.
That's true. But, I mean, 13, right? It doesn't matter. So
that's fair.
We don't know enough.
That's true. I kind of forgot that there are Aiel who channel.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Forget I said anything.
There's 200 of them here.
Okay, forget I said it. All right. Anyway, I say stupid things sometimes.
That's okay.
Now, this whole thing kind of goes on and on for my taste, especially considering we've already seen this entire battle.
Yeah. We get the Wise Ones that are reluctant to, like, join in, but then they start doing the fireball thing.
Yep.
And one kind of side topic I want to talk about, because we're going to skim a little bit here, is the Wise Ones channeling. Okay. Because I think it's kind of interesting to just make you think about this for a second here. So we do learn that they're all very, like, relatively weak. Yeah. Compared to the Aes Sedai, they're very weak.
Yeah.
And we learn here that most Wise Ones channel very seldom, if at all, and then especially not when there's, like, other people who aren't Wise Ones around. Like, they don't channel. They don't do it very often, which probably is partially why they're not very strong, because they never do it, right? And we know you have to work with the power to get better at the power. Okay, so the thought process is, why? Why don't the Wise Ones, why don't the Aiel like channeling?
Well, because of the whole, like, Aes Sedai thing.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing, but I just like to think about how it's probably rooted in tradition of, like, serving the Aes Sedai. So now, like, the Aes Sedai were the ones who could channel. That was, like, their defining feature. And the Aiel were the ones who, like, they didn't. Yeah. They didn't channel. And now there's this weird combination where Wise Ones can channel, but it's like that's not their thing. So they really, really accept the dream walking thing. Like, that's their deal.
Yeah, they do.
But they don't really take on the channeling side.
Right.
It's just like an interesting notion of why they might do things like think of channeling in that way.
Okay. All right. So now Savannah's in the middle of this battle, and suddenly she's blown into the air and, like, lands on the ground, and she sees white. And I honestly thought we were going to see Savannah die here.
Yeah, nope.
Because at the end of Lord of Chaos, I complained that no one died.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And we didn't see where Savannah was in that entire sequence at the end, in that chapter. But here I was like, oh, this is where we see her end.
Like, nice, she gets it.
She gets it.
Eat it, Savannah.
Eat it. In the middle of the battle, whatever, and then her perspective will end because she'll die.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't happen.
Shoot,
okay.
Nobody dies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not true. Tons die.
Lots of people. Nobody I care about died.
Nobody named.
That's the problem.
Nobody named dies that I know of.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get a list of names of people who died.
I doubt that.
Okay. Like,
Sure.
No. Okay.
Yeah, just in time for me to never remember any of them. Great. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah.
That'll make me feel great.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Savannah's blown into the air. She's not dead, though.
Nope.
Some are dead around her, though. And she gets up and orders the spears to push forward, and she shouldn't be ordering anybody to do anything.
Yep.
That's the problem here. And then, enter wolves attack.
This is really funny, too, because, the wolves coming in, it's kind of cool, but she thinks that the Aes Sedai are summoning wolves.
Summoned the wolves.
You know who had the exact same thought? Masema, way back when we were in the mountains, and the wolves came, and he was
Masema?
Masema, the prophet.
Oh, the prophet.
Way back in, it was book 2 or whatever.
I thought you were saying Masana.
No.
Oh.
So back when the wolves came to fight, he was like, oh, the wolves come to fight for Randall Thor.
Right.
Right? And it happened again where the wolves aren't coming for the channelers, for the Aes Sedai. They're coming for Perrin.
Although, no.
They're
These wolves are coming for Rand.
They're coming for Rand, but because of Perrin.
Because of Perrin. I know.
Perrin can't get no respect here.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
No. It's called being stealthy.
Nobody's like, hey, dude
That's
who
good.
looks like a wolf.
Right.
calling all the wolves.
Big, hairy, shaggy,
yellow-eyed
man.
Wolfman is
who can talk to wolves.
Yeah.
No, that's good, though, because now he won't be, singled out.
Possibly.
If they don't know.
Okay.
So then at this point, though, there's a hollow boom in the background.
There you go.
That's the Rand exploding out of the chest.
Yeah.
Savannah doesn't know what caused that. She doesn't like not knowing things. And then she notices that the gateways kind of start appearing all over, but she doesn't know what's going on.
Her brain, her eyes aren't processing that, so it looks like a flicker of light, and then she looks to it, but then it's already gone because we know they're opening them and then jumping through and closing them.
Yeah.
So she's trying to keep up, but she doesn't even see that.
She doesn't know what's happening. So she starts noticing that it appears that the battle is turning back in her favor.
Yeah.
Because there's a definite slack in the Aes Sedai efforts.
Which is Rand.
Taking out all the Aes Sedai from the inside.
Exactly. So the Shadows started to kind of have a push,
yes.
But then the Ashaman show up and then they really put that on lockdown.
And then, so finally the Aes Sedai go silent. Savannah's about to shout for her victory, but then realizes there's this giant dome that's formed, and she turns to yell at the Wise Ones for letting the Aes Sedai do this.
Yeah,
because their job was to stop them from channeling.
Yeah, they're supposed to obstruct whatever they're doing and not let more walls pop up.
Yeah, and then the Wise Ones are like, this isn't women channeling.
Yeah. This is not Saidar.
And then Savannah's like, oh, is Rand this strong?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then Savannah looks at the dome and sees something rise out of it, and it's Rand's banner.
Yes, okay.
And so Savannah keeps yelling for the shadow to push even harder, which makes sense because we see this shadow going at the dome.
Yes.
Banging against it, pushing at it like crazy.
Yeah, and that's when we kind of started to see Perrin's little troops getting decimated on the outside of the dome. And that's why Perrin was like, hey, we gotta let them know so they can retreat.
Right. And then, so abruptly, there's a roar from the front of the battle.
Yeah.
And she can see that the dome is sort of lifted.
Yep, that's the meat grinder
Men
happening.
are shouting and screaming, and she can't see what's happening, so she yells for everyone to push forward. And then the ground starts exploding in fire and earth.
Yep.
And everyone starts bailing.
Yes, now it's time to go, so we got to see that scene.
Yeah, Savannah starts swinging her spear at the Aiel who are running away and kills a maiden.
Yeah, so number one, she's not even supposed to be holding a spear.
Yeah.
And she's literally killing the ones who are running past her.
Yes.
It's...
she also killed a wolf.
Yeah, she did.
Which is bad too.
Yeah. don't do it.
Don't
but
do
like, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. So Savannah keeps screaming that they have to stand and fight. They can still get Rand because that's her only thing that she really wants.
Yeah, but it's like they very well cannot get Rand.
No.
No, this
not
is way...
at this point.
It is much too late for that.
No, and then one of the wise ones like, if we stay, we die, or we're going to be chained by Rand, and if you want to stay, you can, but we're out.
Yeah, we're done with this, so...
And so Savannah stands there for a minute, tosses her spear down, and then feels at her belt pouch for a small carved cube that she thought about throwing out, but clearly didn't.
Yeah, this is funny, because this was the giantest fake-out, because last book, in the last chapter there...
It seemed like
right around... She thinks to herself, she decides to throw away that cube. And we literally laughed about it. It's like, oh, she got that cube. She was going to use it.
Yeah.
Because she was supposed to use it when she has Rand. And then she decides to throw it away. And it reads like she, at that point, threw it away.
Yeah.
But she doesn't.
Done.
Yeah.
And now she thinks of using it.
Yeah. And
but
I actually...
doesn't necessarily use it.
No. She definitely hasn't used it yet. But
and she needs it with the help of someone who can channel,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, she needs someone to channel because, like, whoever gave it to her taught her how to do, like, what to do.
Whatever.
So I kind of went back to see if this was, like, a retcon thing where it's like, oh...
What is that? What words did you just say?
Like a retcon where RJ wrote it one way and then decided he wanted to keep it in. So, like, last book he wrote, oh, she threw it away. And then this book he was like, I don't want her to throw it away.
Okay.
So then, like, re-edit the last book. But no, I saw nothing to say that this was, like rewritten in a different style or a different way. Okay. It looks like it was just she decided to, but didn't, and then she still has it. So
yeah, okay, and then she runs away with the Shido.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, there you go. So okay, goodbye Savannah and the Shido, I guess for now.
Yeah,
most of them.
Yeah, a bunch didn't make it back with her.
A lot did. So we'll hopefully find out some numbers.
Okay,
because there's 40,000. Like that was a lot.
That is a lot.
All
right, so now let's jump into Alviarin's perspective.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Back in the tower, just left the meeting with Elida, and she heads back down towards her room. And there's a bunch of tension in the tower because everyone is wearing their shawls and eyeing her as she goes by. Some are sort of curtsying, and everyone's super on edge.
And you are ignoring her.
I'm ignoring Alviarin?
Yeah. The only one to ignore her was Danielle, a dreamy brown sister.
Danelle.
I know.
Okay. I can be a dreamy brown sister.
Right?
That's the opposite of my personality.
Yeah. Okay.
If anything, you're a dreamy brown.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
Oh, man.
I just had to point it out. Okay.
I know. But Danelle was part of the
she
takedown.
Was the original takedown of Swan.
Was.
Okay,
yes.
It's interesting you remember that. I'm surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I mixed her up with someone else.
You did,
thinking that she was someone in the Black Aja in Tenchiko.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Which was very confusing because you're like, oh, she's Black Aja, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Missed the mark on that one.
No. So Danelle, the dreamy brown, took down Swan.
Okay.
Helped.
All
right. Here we are. Now, as Alviarin is heading back to her room, she's thinking about this foretelling and how shocking it was to actually witness one.
Yeah, she's actually kind of on edge because of this.
She kept her composure quite well, actually.
Yeah. But, her brain is kind of going crazy here.
Yeah.
She was a little bit thrown off by that event.
Yeah, and she thinks it's super dangerous because you never know when it will happen or what it will reveal. But she also thinks it's for sure going to come true.
Yes.
That's what foretellings are. So
Yeah. And I mean, she kind of hits Elida's personality on the head here, too, because she thinks that she's intelligent, but she sees what she wants to see, and she'll try to make true what she thinks is true, which is 100% Elida's downfall.
Yes.
She always thinks everything has to do with, her, and she tries to force her perspective on things.
Yes.
So.
All right. Now, she also thinks it might be necessary to kill her, but she needs permission to do that.
She does. From, we find out very soon, Masana.
Yeah. Currently. That's her current Forsaken.
Her current master.
But she's had several.
It's kind of cool that we get that. Did you get the description of her room? Did you pick up on that?
No.
When she gets back there?
No.
It's still all of Liana's stuff.
Oh, it's all Liana stuff.
Yeah.
Decor from the last inhabitant.
Yeah.
Right, I do have that,
which
actually.
Which is Liana, so it's all her.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So now, before she gets halfway through the room, though, the room goes dark, and she turns and goes to her knees immediately and says, "Great mistress, I live to serve." And a tall woman wrapped in dark shadows and silver is standing there. So we don't know her identity.
Yeah.
This is a cloaking for us, I think, as much as it is for
Alviarin. Oh, yeah. Because RJ's like, no.
Curious.
Yeah.
We're so curious.
And so is Alviarin, and I love it.
Alviarin wants to know, and she's trying to figure it out.
Okay, so one of the things that RJ loves to do is, like, whatever perspective you're reading, he makes you feel what the character is feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's also true that as a reader, I want to know who Messana is.
Yeah, but that's like, he gives you little bits of hints, but not really, and gives you Alviarin's thought process on, like, trying to narrow down who it could be. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the dramatic entrance too. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Especially in comparison when she thinks about the other Forsaken.
Who showed up as themselves.
Yeah, they're just like, yo, I'm here and this is who I am. So listen.
And Messana's like, ooh, no, dark and
super
mysterious.
Spooky. Okay. So we got some backstory stuff that I'll point out real quick here.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the relationship with Messana, Alviarin would like leave out important bits of information because Messana basically says, yo, what's up? What's the deal? How'd that conversation go?
She says she leaves out unimportant bits of information.
Yeah, unimportant.
That's what she thinks.
Yeah, she would leave out unimportant bits.
Okay, so what's happening here, before we jump into what you're going to talk about, is Alviarin starts to share what happened in the Elida meeting with Messana.
Yeah.
And while Alviarin is telling Messana what happened, that's when we get the backstory.
Yes.
Because we don't get the whole recap, obviously.
Yeah. So the backstory, so she used to leave out unimportant bits.
Yes.
But Messana always, like, knew when she was doing that, so now she just says every word because you don't want to mess with the Forsaken. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So she thinks that it's pretty clear that Messana eavesdrops on the meetings. Which is kind of interesting that is a thing.
Yeah.
Messana eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Because we know that Moraine could, like, listen in.
Eavesdrop.
And eavesdrop. So is she doing the same thing but with, like, inverted weaves? Or can
she, like, invisibility herself?
Yeah. And, like, we kind of know some of these things. Like, is she doing the invisible thing? Is she literally, like, inverting weaves and doing the, listening thing?
Probably that.
What's going on?
Probably both. Probably all of the above.
Yeah. So then we get that Alviarin has met some of the other chosen.
Because we also know that Messana is very smart, right? Like, she's a teacher, or she was a teacher.
Yeah, we got a little bit of her backstory, but not a ton.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we also get that Lanfear came to the tower to meet Alviarin. Grendel, Balal snatched her up away in the night while she slept to somewhere she didn't know, but she was back in her bed when she woke up.
Right, which was scary.
Yeah, that could maybe be like a Tel'aran'rhiod situation.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like it, so... But
and also Ishamael, right?
That was the very first, and Ishamael came years before the others and plucked her out of the Black Aja to place her at its head. So she is the head of the Black Aja.
Right, and that makes sense too, because I had a question later on when she's like, I'm going to make sure no Black Aja go to the Black Tower.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, from what I know, Black Aja only know like 3 of any others, at the time. So, like, how does she know exactly?
So she's the head. She is
head.
The top dog of all, and as keeper, that kind of makes sense that she got put into that position. But it's also Elida who went to Alviarin with the information too. So it's kind of like happenstance. So, but anyways, Alviarin thinks she, like, to every single one of the chosen, she would, like, kneel and say, "I live to serve you," because that's good business.
That's what you do. Yep.
Yep. But only Messana appears the way that she does in the cloak of shadow and light, and she thinks that she could see the strength of Lanfear and Grendel, but with Messana, she feels nothing, so she's clearly hiding that ability.
Yes.
So that she can't be spotted. Mm-hmm. And then Alviarin has figured out that she must be hiding herself so she isn't recognized, and she must live in the tower or reside here, and she figures she must be one of the sisters, because there's no way she would hide as a servant. A
Forsaken would hide as a servant,
yeah. And I mean, okay, maybe.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah, but then she also thinks, like, who could it be? Because there's tons of sisters who've been out of the tower and back in because Elida did the recall thing. So, I mean, it's really hard to say who doesn't have friends or, no friends. I have
no prediction. I predicted for, like, a hot minute last time that Galena might be also Messana somehow, but, like, that doesn't even make sense. So.
Yeah. So it's pretty cloaked in shadow right now.
Right. All right. So Alviarin gives her the recap of what happened in the meeting with Elida, and Missana speculates about the foretelling.
Yep.
Basically just to herself. Like, she's not actually having a conversation with Alviarin. She's just kind of talking out loud. She mentions that, you know, the foretelling was always a rare talent, and most who had it spoke only... So, like, poets could understand anyway, basically saying that, like, it's very difficult to interpret.
Makes sense why that prophecy at the beginning of the book was so contentious, because poets...
Poets.
Gosh, okay.
Now, Alviarin takes a bit of a risk here and says that Elida is dangerous because of her talent, and we don't know what it could reveal.
Yeah, but that's kind of like...
And Missana's like, oh, like what? About the Black Aja?
Yeah, you think that she's going to have a foretelling, it's like, oh,
there's
Alviarin is Black Aja.
Yeah.
That's
and
not how it
then
works.
she says that Elida still has her uses, and we're not killing her yet, basically.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, there is an interesting thing that I want to kind of point out here, too.
Okay.
Because Missana says during this whole, like, conversation that you children almost match the Aja at times. But in the book, it's lowercase and italicized Aja.
Okay.
But when we see, like, red Aja or whatever it is, it's capitalized and not italicized. So that's in, like, kind of hinting that it's Old Tongue and that Aja is also a thing from
something
Age
else.
of Legends,
okay.
but it's something else.
Okay.
Little hint, but there's no glossary definition for it. So,
ooh.
But it is a thing for Missana.
Okay. So basically, we got to keep Elida alive at least until Rand reaches the tower.
Yeah, she still has use, and that makes sense because she's doing literally, like, their situation right now is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Elida's got no power. Alviarin makes all the, you know...
Basically, she knows
stuff
everything.
that Missana says to do, so...
Yeah. Because then Missana tells Alviarin to write out Elida's orders. And then at this point, Missana's still speculating out loud.
Yeah, she's not looking for an answer from Alviarin.
No, she's like, ooh, I wonder if Elida's plan of having the King of Ilion and the Queen of Saldea kidnapped will work.
Like they used to do in the past.
Now, I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
But I also wrote down this was like 1,000 years ago.
True.
So...
Here's the thing.
Maybe they learned in their, like, history classes as novices that this happened in the past.
Okay.
But they haven't used it recently.
Sure, but again,
you were trying to point out
here's the thing.
That this is something they do all the flippin' time.
Here's the thing.
No way they do.
Here's the thing.
No, there's
no, you have to listen to the things that I have to say.
Really don't.
That's how this works. You can cut it out later if you want to, but... The important thing is that even if it was like 1,000 years ago, when Aes Sedai lived like hundreds of years, that's not that long ago.
Yeah, but it's still like not in recent times.
You say recent, but that's like...
No, you made it seem like if the women right now who are taking Rand...
Yeah.
do this all the time.
My point was they have a playbook.
No, they don't, though.
My point was they have a playbook.
They have a history book.
They got a playbook.
They learned that Aes Sedai did do this in the past.
That playbook might be a little bit dusty, but it still exists.
They don't do it. Okay, well, anyways.
Yeah.
So that conversation is coming to an end, and Alviarin sticks her neck out one more time to ask a little bit of a question.
She's risking it, yeah.
You know what? She must be, like, pretty high-ranking. And I know you said that, but that was with, like, Ishmael, and so, like, who knows where she's kind of fallen through the ranks of all these other Forsaken, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Like how they view her, but...
Right. But it seems like if she can ask a question like this, and then get an answer... that there is some rapport here.
It's not nothing. Like, replacing her would also probably be, like, a little bit of work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she gets a little bit of leeway.
Especially considering she's a keeper.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, she asks, what about the Black Tower and, like, that whole plan?
Yes.
And then we get some more backstory.
Yeah, like, stuck in between this conversation, we learn actually really important information about the history of the Black Aja. So, that's kind of cool. So... we know that Alviarin was approached by Ishamael a long time before the other Forsaken, because we know that Ishamael was kind of like out first.
Right? Yeah.
Or has been out in the world.
Or always out, yeah.
Or always out, or however that actually works.
Right.
But Alviarin rose to power because Ishamael killed her predecessor Jarna Malari, who was the previous head of the Black Aja.
Okay.
So Ishamael literally killed her after he learned what she had started, but didn't end for another 2 years after the death of another Amyrlin seat named Sieran.
Okay.
Now, there's a bunch of stuff we can't talk about right now because of New Spring.
Oh, okay.
But we will come back to this after we have officially read New Spring in the order.
Oh, like after book 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once everybody has read in publication order, this is super important, and we'll come back to it. We'll talk about it in the future.
Right, because we have read New Spring. We read it after book 5, but we are not bringing that stuff into these
discussions. Yeah, we're not going to do that just for everybody's,
in case
sake.
People want to read it in publication order, and we don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah. So we're just we'll put a pin in it, and I will remember. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, and I will not.
Yes.
Even remotely remember this. So.
But the interesting part about this, besides all that other stuff, Alviarin wonders if Elida had anything to do with the death of that Amyrlin, Sieran Veyu, because the Black Aja did not have a hand in it.
Oh.
So that's interesting that the Black Aja didn't murder an Amyrlin, and the head of the Black Aja is thinking...
Was that the one before Swan?
So, no.
Oh.
What we know, Jarna had Tamra Ospenya murdered, and that was the Amyrlin before Sieran, and then it seems like there should be one more Amyrlin between Sieran and Swan just because of ages and it doesn't really line up because Swan is quite young, but we don't have a name for her.
Okay.
But the important part is that Alviarin and the other 12 sisters of the Great Council, in capitalized letters there, so the Black Aja has a Great Council that kind of reports 12 plus Alviarin, so 13, right? And that's important for the number that actually left the tower.
I didn't pick that up.
Yep.
Okay.
They had to convince Ishamael that they had no responsibility for the actions of Jarna.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, we'll put a pin in it. We'll come back to it later on.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So now Alviarin asks Missana if it's safe to send 50 sisters to deal with the Black Tower.
Yeah.
And Missana doesn't exactly respond, and she only
doesn't.
vaguely threatens Alviarin for being curious. And then Alviarin thinks to herself she's going to make sure that no Black sisters go on this mission.
Yeah, so Alviarin doesn't want to sacrifice her troops.
Yeah.
For this Black Tower mission, which she thinks is destined to fail.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah. Now, Missana changes the subject and tells Alviarin that she basically wants her to serve her and only her and not any of the other chosen. And she's like, yeah,
well,
of course. Duh.
I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
No, actually, I made promises.
No, it's like when you're in Big Brother and someone's like, do you want to be in an alliance
You're
with me?
yeah.
Absolutely, I do.
Why would you be no, I actually already have an alliance, thank you?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
That's not what you say. You want to be my final two? Yes.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So then Missana's like, okay, good. So I'll teach you then, but remember that me teaching you doesn't mean that you can go and teach others, because if you pass this information on or use it without my direct orders, then I'll kill you.
I'll kill you real good.
Kill you dead.
Yeah.
And then Missana shows Alviarin how to make a gateway.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Now, a little bit early for them, so this is cool for Alviarin because she doesn't know.
Yep.
But, this is about to be common knowledge in
exactly.
the
And
world.
it's is that going to have repercussions if other sisters start learning, and then is Missana going to be like, Alviarin, how do they know? And she's going to be like, I swear I didn't tell anybody.
I hope that's how Alviarin dies. I hope that's it.
Oh, man. Wouldn't that
would
be a
so
kicker?
fun.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny.
Yeah, because literally Egwene is telling everybody how to travel now.
That would be like that whole Aes Sedai gets injured right after Rand is like, hey, Taim, don't injure Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
And, if he actually followed through or whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a thing. So, it's kind of interesting. So, why is Missana teaching how to travel? And it kind of seems like maybe there's other stuff that she's going to teach her, but she clearly doesn't want Alviarin to spread the knowledge, because that's I get that, because keep your secrets and whatever, but no, it's an interesting scene to really dive into Black Aja and Forsaken. We haven't heard anything about Missana before.
Not really. No,
we never
really.
really saw her. We heard about her.
We heard about her and where
she
she
here.
is and whatever, but
yeah,
she's kind of cool.
Yeah, she is literally running the White Tower.
Yeah, I dig it.
100%.
Yeah, I dig it. I'm okay with it. I like her.
So the real question is, how do we root out all these Black Aja?
Right.
Like, even assuming that, Egwene can whatever, I guess, like, take over. Let's call it that.
That's true. That's the problem,
We still have a bunch of...
But she does have Swan on her side, who is already in the process of, like, hunting Black Aja and not trusting anybody.
True, but, like, her plan was send Egwene after the Black Aja.
No, it was a bad plan. That's true.
So, like, how do we do that? And then, like, Missana, if she is actually, like, posing as a sister or whatever,
right.
How does that actually work? So
right, and then how's this all going to affect, like, Egwene?
Yeah.
If they already know that she's the new Amyrlin for the other tower and whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We've made a decision.
Yep.
We're going to wrap up here.
Yeah, we are.
And
halfway through.
Is going to be a part 2 of the prologue because we want to be able to do it justice. It's getting quite late, and the next part's very interesting, and I want to talk about it in detail, so I actually remember it.
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely good stuff, so, okay.
So, unfortunately, that means I don't get to read Chapter 1 yet.
No, not yet.
I don't get to read tonight after recording, but we are going to record the second half of the prologue in our next recording session for our next episode release.
Yeah.
So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah. Get to check in on Pedro Nile.
I can't wait.
Oh, it's so good.
It's cool. Okay. All right, so then to end it here, I'm going to say that before you lead an entire battle into almost complete slaughter with no battle experience, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Vince Lewick, and Margaret, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.